So before I recorded my masterclass series and I shared it with you all this week, I came across an interesting article saying that Google, with their search console, has now allowed you to include your social media channels onto the search console. And if you are not aware of the search console, that is ultimately what you use as a way for you to build on your level of search engine optimization as far as Google is concerned. So the same way that I will be saying to you, like when you Google your name, what comes up, that is the whole idea of things. And when you have a Google search console for your particular website, that will allow you to have all the analytics and the data for you to work with to understand any particular trends or anything that pokes out as something useful as far as data is concerned. But for a while, there wasn't the actual add-on for social media channels. So you wasn't able to really track your social media metrics and the analytics there via one platform. But from reading, it seems that they have added that, but they are not very forthcoming as to the reason why. So I came across an interesting article that I'm going to read through with you all. I've read the first couple paragraphs, but I haven't read it through in its entirety. So I'm pretty interested to see what has been said based on the actual article. So please do like, comment, and subscribe before we get started, and make sure that you check out the 4 stages of Brand Authority Masterclass series. That is a series that I put together to help you build your level of brand authority, and it's at 4 levels. So it's fix your foundation, build your rhythm, amplify your authority, and sustain your influence. So wherever stage you are at in your brand authority journey, in your brand building journey, check it out. And I have a lot more information and details of the whole idea of the 4 stages of brand authority that I'm looking forward to sharing with you all in due time. But in the meantime, let's just get straight into it. Let me share my screen. So this was on Search Engine Journal. So let's have a quick read and big up the editor or the author of this particular piece, Dan Taylor. So Google is using social media signals to mask AI search click loss. Google's new search console social tracking masks AI-driven click loss while turning verified creator profiles into a free entity resolution training data. Okay. As you may already know, Google recently updated Search Console to let brands track how their social media and video posts perform in search results. Most marketers view this update as a helpful gift. They believe Google wants to reward brands that build strong footprints across TikTok, YouTube, and X, and not wanting to be glass half full. I think this is the positive optics Google was hoping for. If you look past the official announcements, a different picture comes into focus. This update is a clever trap. It serves as a shield to hide the traffic loss caused by artificial intelligence while positioning creators into further training Google's AI models. Okay. Redefining success in the era of click loss. To understand this strategy, you must look at the crisis Google faces with web publishers. Generative search experiences and AI summaries answer user questions directly on the search page. This setup keeps users on Google instead of sending them to external websites. That's true. Organic traffic to a company website was the main measure of marketing success, and a narrative we as an industry pinned to the mast for years as to whether or not we were justifying our budgets. By tracking social media views inside Search Console, Google is trying to change the definition of success. If your website traffic drops by a third, Google can point to your social media data. They can show you that your TikTok videos received thousands of impressions on the search page. They want you to believe you are still winning, even if you do not get actual clicks. Wow, that is interesting. It forces marketers to view Google as the central control room for all visibility, even when Google stops sending visitors to their websites, as they are still providing visibility. All right, outsourcing the search graph to creators. The update also serves as a tool to train Google's artificial intelligence and to power generative search. Google needs to understand the real world. The engine maps relationships between people, brands, and topics. This process is called entity resolution. Google needs to know who is an expert, what they write about, and whether they are a real person or just an automated spam site. By encouraging you to verify your social accounts inside Search Console, Google makes you do their work. You hand over the exact connections they need, tell them that your website, your X profile, and your TikTok account are all the same entity. Instead of Google guessing which profile belongs to which author, publishers hand deliver verified identity maps. Google can then use this to clean data to train its language models on who the true authorities are. This Search Console update also ties in nicely with the initial release of Google search profiles, which feels like a modern respin of the authorship benefits of Google+. The human trust filter. Having verified data is essential in the age of generative text. Anyone can build a website, buy a drop domain, and programmatically generate thousands of articles with AI and inflate third-party authority metrics. Social profiles with real human engagement are the best proof of life. Real companies and real brands operate across the multiple channels and have a form of pulse and presence outside their single web domain. Google uses these connections as a trust filter to separate real brands from synthetic spam. You are giving Google the exact blueprints it needs to verify content ownership. This helps Google decide which sources are reliable and which sources are junk. Looking at this cynically, the ability to verify social profiles in Google Search Console is an optics masterclass in platform survival. It somewhat pacifies publishers by giving them new vanity metrics to track, and at the same time, it creates a new network for those same publishers to map the entity relationships that Google needs to build its AI future. So, how Google gets social content. Google pulls social media posts into search engine results pages through a combination of live data fire hoses, standard web crawling, and dynamic JavaScript rendering. This process differs based on the specific platform and user privacy settings. Some of these data pipelines have been around for almost a decade, with the X, then Twitter, firehose deal coming into play in 2015. This doesn't mean that fresh posts are the only ones considered. In my own Search Console profile, I'm seeing X posts receiving clicks on Google that I posted in October 2024. LLMs behave in a similar manner, and because of this, we need to look at a post depreciation strategy. Reviewing pricing prompts for one of our clients, I found that a couple of LLMs were returning pricing information from an X post advertising a student only offer from July 2022. This isn't only misinformation, but can lead to a negative brand experience when a user clicks through expecting to receive one price, but finds one substantially different. So, your audience, Google's platform. The brands that win in this new landscape will not focus on these new Google metrics, but understand these are now another piece of the puzzle. We need to stop treating Google as a neutral partner, as Google needs search to bring people to the platform for ads. We should use our social channels to build a direct connection with your audience, gather your community on platforms you control, rather than a search engine that wants to keep your visitors for itself. So that is a interesting piece. And for me, I think it reinforces everything that I talk about when it comes down to not only diversifying your content so then you can become more visible via these search engine optimization routes, but then also when you are generating the opportunity of getting more eyes on your work and more eyes on your content, figure out the most effective way that you can develop a funnel per se that can lead people into your own ecosystem, whether it comes down to your website per se or even your newsletter. Remember, I deem that as owned media. That's something that you own and you control. And the more people you have within that side of things, the more control you have in terms of what you are able to share, what you're able to dictate, and what you are able to provide on the basis of you being more visible and credible to your desired target audience. So, of course, I would say utilize the Search Console and incorporate all the relevant information you can in order to amplify your level of visibility as far as Google is concerned. But then always consider that approach that whoever falls on your page or your channel or your social media profiles ensure that you have a way where you can find the most efficient way, I would say, to bring them back into your ecosystem. No matter what that looks like for you, whether it comes down to the form of a lead magnet, a webinar, a masterclass, any free resources, anything that you feel is more relevant to your particular target audience that will then allow them to invest in you by actually signing up to something and becoming part of your ecosystem as a result. So let me know what you think of that. Do you use Search Console yourself for your brand? Do you know about Search Console already? Or now that you've watched this video, are you considering to incorporate Search Console to build and establish your brand far and wide? Let me know in the comments, as it'll be interesting to get your thoughts as well. But that's it from me. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace out. Look after yourself.